think we're about ready to start. Wait for the last couple of people to come in.
How's that? That's good. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Proactive Frontline Help Desk, Management and Multimedia. I'm Aaron Hurd, the Library Systems Manager at the S.J. Quinney College of Law.
And I'm Wesley Christiansen, the Student LAN Manager and Help Desk Manager at the law school.
Today we are going to be talking about 3 problems that plague help desks and their users. Let me go back. You may have noticed we changed the title just a little bit. We added the word proactive because we believe that a help desk should be more than just a passive entity within an organization, but should more actively participate in improving the user experience. So, like I said, we're going to talk about 3 common problems and 3 solutions we've found with dealing with those problems. And for those of you enticed here by the word multimedia, we're going to be spending a fair amount of time on that in the second half of the presentation. We're going to be covering a lot of information today. Maybe too much to digest at once. Just in case that happens to be the case, we've made a special page on our website where you can find kind of an overview of what we talked about and links to the tools that we're going to be describing. So let's get started with those 3 problems. The first one is wasted HR potential. Help desks tend to be havens for the flagrant wasting of time. Help desk staff have been known to become major experts at what you can find on YouTube and get really high in Tetris, but that's not particularly helpful to users. And for any of us who have been to a help desk before, maybe we've encountered the I don't know response. It's probably partly because of that. Can you help me out with this kind of obscure problem? Well, I don't know. Like maybe somebody else knows. They're not here right now. So, how do we deal with that? Second problem is help desk inaccessibility. What if have you been to a help desk and nobody's there? You have a meeting or a presentation in like half an hour, nobody's there, you think your problem's going to take about 20 minutes to solve, panic can set in at times. What if it's packed with people and it looks like you're not going to be helped for an hour and you need to get off? The third problem is wasting time with recurring issues. This is more towards the help desk staff. Are we spending our time fixing the same problem, helping users in the exact same way over and over and over again? What can we do about that?
So I'm going to talk about, can everyone hear me okay? Okay. I'm going to talk about our 3-pronged solution. And the first one is maximizing HR potential. When we talk about HR potential, we talk about our help desk staff that's sitting there maybe playing Tetris or maybe watching YouTube. And we want to maximize their potential, help in making the user's life easier and making IT maybe simpler for everyone. Second, we want to talk about making the help desk accessible. We'll talk about physical and virtual accessibility. And then 3, we're going to help users help themselves. So, and then specifically Aaron's going to be talking about that. So maximizing HR potential. Now, when you have issues with HR potential not being maximized, you run into various problems. And what you want to do first to try to solve these problems is foster a collaborative IT environment. And when we say that, we mean create an environment where IT help desk people can be part of the IT staff, not just a guy that sits out in the front and just watches YouTube or whatever they might be doing. You want them to feel like they can participate, and if they have some cool idea, you want them to feel like they can offer that idea up and make a difference. So one of the things we do first of all when we hire IT help desk people is we improve the job description. So it's not a job that'll have lots of free time for you to do your homework, or a job that is something where you can come in and watch YouTube, or like we always say. Anyway, so what we do is we say, you want to have this job because it's a resume builder, because we will be giving you opportunities to learn, and you'll have a job that's not a study job, but is a job that will help you in your IT career. So one of the things we've done in the past is we've delegated tasks. And here's an example. This is our Helpdesk computer lab tracking program. So occasionally you hire computer scientists or people in the computer science program, and something like a Helpdesk tracking program took us a week for our Helpdesk people to do, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful help. And we've taken advantage of skills like photoshopping skills, here's web programming skills, and we really get an added benefit from that. So the second thing we want to talk about is making the help desk accessible. And when your help desk is not accessible, you have people walking away from the help desk very disappointed, and that's not the kind of thing you want to have. Because once someone goes to the help desk and they see there's no one there, there's no help, they don't go back again. Unless, of course, they're in serious trouble and they go back and there's no one there again, and then you're never going to see them again. And so you get all sorts of problems. People walk away not knowing what to do. They just start dealing with the problem on their own, whether that means creating a solution that's maybe 15 steps, when if they would have gone to the help desk, they could have done it in one. You see that all the time. And they have come up with these weird workaround solutions, like they have free printing at the law school, or they have a certain amount of money at printing at the law school, but because they cannot get it to work and they cannot get help from the help desk, they just always just print at home or go to Kinko's or whatever it may be. And their IT experience is detrimented because of that. And we don't want that. We want IT to be this proactive, I'm going to solve your problems before you discover them type help desk. So we make it physically accessible. Here's a picture of our help desk. I don't know if any of the rest of you have experienced this, but when I first got there, our help desk was in the bottom of our law school, back in kind of what we refer to as a cave. There was no signage. In fact, the only sign saying it was the help desk was on the door, which if someone was there, was open and out of the way and you couldn't see it. So I got maybe one, maybe two people a week, and now we've moved it up into the middle of our library. We have people there every hour. That's much better. And so you'll see that putting a big sign on it, you'll get a lot of help, or you'll be able to give a lot of help. And so the next thing I want to talk about is virtual accessibility. And virtual accessibility kind of gives you the ability to give help to people who may not be able to get to the help desk, or may be able to just get the information without physically walking to the help desk. So there's a number of tools that we're going to talk about, Meebo, Grand Central, and VNC, that will really help you give that virtual help desk accessibility. So first thing we're going to talk about is Meebo. Has everyone heard of Meebo before? Okay. Meebo is a really cool web service that's free. With a simple line of HTML, you can embed a Flash chat client into your website. So it's free. It said it can be inserted into your web page. It's easy to use. So why don't we pull that up real quick? So you'll see in ours here, this is our help desk website. You can see if the help desk person is there, if they are, which when it says online, hopefully they're really there. And there we go. So as you can see, this gives people the ability to connect with the help desk without having to get out of their study carrel and come down to the help desk. And it also means that your help desk person doesn't have to necessarily leave the help desk to get help. Okay, so, and it's at meepo.com. So if you have any questions and want to check it out, like I said, really easy, meepo.com. And the next thing we want to talk about is a combination that we use of Grand Central and Skype. You've probably all heard of Skype before. One of the services that we use is Skype In. And what that means is Skype actually sells us a 1-year phone number. It's a yearly fee. It's about $120. And then we associate that with a Skype phone. So it's a little Wi-Fi phone, and we give that to the help desk. So if our help desk person has to go to a professor's office, take that Skype phone, put it in their pocket, and when they put that little sign up that says, call me at this number, I'm not here, they're always available. And there's never a time when someone walks to the help desk and can't get help. So we use that in conjunction with Grand Central. Has everyone heard of Grand Central before? Now, Grand Central is a really cool web service that's offered by Google. And Google generally means it's free, which is really cool. And it's extremely easy to set up. This time you also get a phone number. And this phone number, I'll explain exactly how it works in a minute. But basically the idea is they give you a single phone number. Now you can put that phone number on your website. And, oops, sorry. And on our website we have a little button here that has Grand Central. They can click on here and they can connect to us. We also put the phone number here, so if someone just wants to pick up the phone, they call that number. That one number goes to the Grand Central service, and then it calls these 4 numbers. So, and you can set it to call my phone number before 6 o'clock p.m. and after 8 a.m. in the morning, and you can adjust it so that I'm not getting calls at 10 p.m. at night on this number. But they can call that one number, and they're guaranteed to get someone, whether it's the help desk person at the desk, or on their Skype phone, or Aaron or myself. Yeah, and I think you can set up to 8 different numbers. So if you've got a couple of different people you want to connect, you can. So we'll do a quick little demonstration of that.
Does it call all the numbers at one time?
Yeah, all the numbers at once. So what we usually do...
First answer.
Yeah, so yeah, first answer wins. And so what Aaron and I will do is we'll wait for it to ring a couple of times to see if the help desk can get it, and if they can't, we'll just answer it. So you click on it, you type in your name and phone number, and it's actually what it's going to do is it's going to call Aaron's phone first, and when it calls his phone, it'll tell him it's connecting, and of course it's
you hear it very well. It's saying Grand Central's connecting my call, ringing. I'd bring it closer to the mic, but it'll freak out.
And then it calls my phone, and it's calling our help desk.
Hey Mike, how's it going? Very well. Is it very busy there today? You get a raise. Okay, thanks.
So you can see it's one of those things that it's a simple thing, and once you set it up, it's like set it up and forget. And now you have access to your help desk people anytime. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is VNC, and you've probably already all heard of VNC. If you haven't, it's a lot like remote desktop, and we like it because it's cross-platform. So we have Mac users, we have PC users, and we can connect either one. And so what it does for us is it actually enables you to connect to a remote computer and administer it remotely. And so this means that our help desk person, once again, doesn't necessarily have to leave the help desk. He can stay at the help desk, and he can, on the phone or via text IMing, walk a user through how to solve the problem. And so this facilitates teaching, and for those of you who are worried about possible snooping, you can actually set it up so that the user has to hit accept, and so no one worries about Big Brother or So and it helps users help themselves.
Which brings me to reminding you of the third problem, which was that of recurring issues. I'll just stay here.
Okay.
Mike's here. Let me give you an example of a recurring issue. This year, we replaced 2/3 of our student printers. Now, because all of our students are required to have a laptop and all of them print as a part of their classes, this meant that over 450 students all needed several printers reconfigured on their laptops individually within the course of a couple weeks. Now, our help desk staff, including Wes and I, there were days where we did almost nothing else but reconfigure printers, and I could almost do it without even looking. Cool as that was, I didn't really like doing that all day. We decided to combat this by, in addition to the things Wes said, creating a strong web presence, but with blogs and how-to guides. The first blog I want to show you is called, creatively, the S.J. Quinney Helpdesk blog. What we've done with that is we've set up a system where Wes and I, along with our Helpdesk staff, will create how-tos based upon issues that we think are either easy enough for users to handle themselves, or we are doing all the time and just don't want to keep doing it so that we can help users with other things. This one, for example, is about adding network drives on Macs. We've got, for example, connecting to our Exchange server, finding your MAC address, etc. And I jumped back a little too quick. We've made it searchable and try to keep it really organized to help the users find what they're looking for in a hurry. We've divided them up into categories, recent ones for Windows and Mac platforms, and we have a search system specifically for these how-to guides. There we go. How to turn your documents into PDF. That's a video, but we'll get to that. We have, over the course of a couple years, now produced 85 how-to guides. Maybe a couple more. The best thing about them is, now at first we were worried about this, that users were going to be averse to this. We were worried that it was going to be very bad customer service. When we're swamped, somebody comes to the desk, help me install my printers. Well, we're busy. Can you do it yourself? There's a guide online. We were pleasantly surprised to find out that many of our users were totally okay with this, and sometimes even excited that they could just do it themselves and not have to sit here and wait for us while we were doing other things. This has helped the users be able to help themselves. There are many users that just won't even come to the desk sometimes. They will just go to the website, search for their problem, and fix it themselves. Second blog I want to talk to you about is called Knowing Stuff. We registered this URL, and it just points back to the same web page as this, but we wanted to make it a really easy to remember name. One of the biggest barriers to users being able to help themselves is the pesky little phrase, I don't know anything about computers. There are many, many users out there that just stop right there. I would help myself, but I don't know anything about computers. What we've tried to do with Knowing Stuff is combat that by writing special guides not directed towards any issue in particular, but the fundamentals of computer use. For instance, this one right here is all about memory. What is this word RAM I keep hearing about? What's a hard drive? What's the difference between memory and RAM? What's a CPU? Like, what's inside this computer? What are all these parts? And what are all these cables in the back? We hope by giving users some fundamental information about what these things are, that they will have confidence to then go on to using our how-to guides. Speaking of how-to guides, like I said, the written guides are extremely helpful. Sometimes they have some inherent flaws. They can be really long. They can be easy to lose your place in. What string was I entering into what box? They can be really confusing, very intimidating. They can contribute to depression, headaches, and promote violence. For example, that printer problem I mentioned, we tried to make it as clear and as step-by-step and as friendly as possible, and that's great until you're on page 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really work. So what do? Do we just give up on it? No, we decided to just take a different approach. Multimedia how-to guides. First thing you can do to improve a how-to guide is to just use images. An example of that is not link C, but D. This guide is about how to add your Gmail account to your client-side Outlook program. Not only did that help me to write, because I don't have to write 10 steps for how to fill out this window here, I can say your window should look like this. They're confident because it's all right there, it's not line after line of scary looking text, and they know that if they're not on this window, something's wrong, but even better, if they are, they're doing it right. Yay! Even better than that though, wait, one more thing. I just made that using screenshots. Now, most of you probably know how to take these, but for those who don't, the ability to take screenshots is built into every major operating system. Windows, you have a little key on your keyboard that you might have wondered what it's for, print screen or print, and that takes a picture of your screen. On Macs, it's Command-Shift-F4. Command is the little swirly by the space bar usually. Even better than that though, video how-tos. Even less confusing. They appeal very much to visual learners. They can be paused, fast-forwarded, rewinded, and they're cheaper and easier than you might think to make. Here's an example of that same how-to now in video form.
In this how-to, we're going to show you how to connect to the new printers from your laptop. First, let's connect to the print server. Come down to Start and click on Run. And in this box, type in //col.print.law.utah.edu. Hit Enter. This box will appear. First, type in your full email address with @law.utah.edu and your email password, and click OK. After a moment, you'll get this window here with a list of printers. All this does
That
is
goes on and on like that. Okay, not on and on. It's only like 3.5 minutes long. But we found out to be way, way more effective than the scary violence-promoting written one. Video how-tos, let's talk about the cost. You must have two things. One of them, screen capture software, which can range anywhere from only free to $20, and video editing software, which kind of has a fairly large range, $75 to $300 or even more. We also recommend that you have a microphone because you want your users to hear what you're saying. A format converter, that depends on your own website, your own implementation. Sometimes you're going to need to convert these videos into various formats for your own uses. And graphics software, that funky little logo intro I put on the beginning of ours was mostly made in Photoshop, not in a fancy video program. Now for recording, we recommend Cam Studio, mostly because it is free, which is a price everybody likes. You can find that at camstudio.org. In case I haven't communicated that clearly, what that does is it, like you saw before, takes a video of your screen and captures the audio at the same time, and is essentially like pointing a camera at your computer monitor, except that the quality is vastly improved. For editing, to take out all the uhs and ms and or when your computer crashes while you're doing the video, I don't get paid by Sony, but I personally recommend Sony Vegas. This is a version of it that's, well, it was $75, now it's $90 on Amazon.com. Pretty cheap and amazingly easy to learn and get used to. For a microphone, you might have one sitting around or have a built-in mic. Sometimes those are not very good. You can get a decent headset mic also online for about $20. Graphic software, I use the latest greatest Photoshop, but don't let that discourage you from using pretty much any version. If you have a version of Photoshop 4.0, that's 7 versions old, sitting around, use that. It'll work just fine. You can also find old versions of that for anywhere between $5 to $100 online. Or there's also paint.net, which is free, does a great job, and oh yeah, it's free. That's at getpaint.net. Publishing, like I said, For your own website, that's a very school-specific issue. Meaning you'll maybe have to get Flash or set up your own system, or just go ahead and use YouTube. We sort of made that out to be the bane of the Helpdesk's existence before, but it can actually work for you. Now, I originally planned to make a how-to live right now to show you how easy it is, but instead I took about an hour and made a video how-to about making a video how-to, which I'll show you for about 3 minutes.
This video how-to guide is all about how to make a video how-to guide. First off, we're going to need to find a way to record our screen. The program I'm using is called Cam Studio. Cam Studio is free. You can download that at camstudio.org. Now when you download and install it and run it for the first time, you're going to need to change some settings. First, we want to change our region to full screen. We want to set it to record audio from our microphone. And under Program Options, set it to minimize program on start recording and hide flashing rectangle during a recording. Once those things are set, push the record button. Now, it looks like nothing's happening, but you can tell by this icon down in the bottom right that it is recording your screen. Everything that we do is being recorded. Now, let's say we want our how-to to be, for example, how to find your IP address on a Windows computer. At this point, now that I'm recording, I would walk the user step by step through the process of doing that. But because this video how-to is about how to make a video how-to, let's just fast forward through that. When you're done with the walkthrough, look down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen for the Cam Studio icon. Double-click on that to open the Cam Studio controls and hit stop. Now, Cam Studio will ask you where you want to save your recording. I have a folder here. You can use any folder you like. I'm going to call it IP address. Now it isn't instantly saved. You'll notice that it is working on compressing the audio up here, and this could take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes depending on how much video you've recorded. Now we have our recording saved. It automatically opens it in this player, but we don't need that right now, so feel free to close that. We'll close this as well. Now it's time to edit it. I use Sony Vegas as my main video editor because of its good price and very intuitive interface. You'll notice that we have 3 main areas here: Project Media, a preview window, and a timeline. First, under Project Media, let's click on Import Media. Make sure that your Project Media tab is selected here. Press this button here to import media, navigate to your folder, and let's import that video we just recorded. Then drag it straight onto the timeline. If you scroll left and right here, our video looks like it's fairly long. One way to help make it a little more manageable is to click on the timeline and use your mouse's scroll wheel and pull backward on it. That zooms out our timeline so that we can see our entire video all at once. Now, before I continue, I'm going to import one more thing. Previously, I made a separate movie file, which is a blank introduction file. I'm going to add that to my project media. On the timeline, our recording starts at the very beginning. I need to make room, so I'm just going to drag on the video clip here and move it out of the way. And then from project media, drag the new piece onto the timeline, and then I'm going to close the gap because this empty space will show up only as black. I'm going to close the gap. One nice thing about Vegas is that you'll notice as I dragged this piece on top of the other, it automatically created a transition. That's what this indicates. The 21 means 21 frames. That's almost a second. They're about 30 frames per second in video. I'm going to place this cursor back a little bit and press Enter to take a look at what we've done. Looks good. The next thing we need to do is add a new video track for our title. You'll notice that our screen here is blank. Right-click on this empty space over here and say Add Video Track. Now we have 2 layers of video that we can work with. If you click up here on this empty timeline, right-click there, right-click on that new video track, and select Insert Text Media. This preview window appears. let's call our video Finding Your IP Address. Now it obviously doesn't look quite right. So from this window we can do several things. I'm going to reduce the size of the text. Under the Placement tab, I will position it farther down the screen so it's not covering our logo. And under Effects, I'm going to add a drop shadow. There's our title. I'll position it over the intro piece. Now it needs to have fade-ins and fade-outs. Notice these two blue corners on the top of our 5-second long text piece. Place your cursor over one of those corners and you'll find out, you'll get this icon. Drag that to the right and you have just instantly created a fade-in of 1 second. I don't want it to be quite that long, so I'm going to move it till this box says about 15 or 16, that's about half a second. Place it closer to the beginning. And at the end, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now, watch. Our text automatically fades in and fades out.
So those are just the basics to using Vegas. But it's really easy to pick up, and using those steps, you can create an entire how-to video. Like I said, though I'm admittedly fairly expert at Vegas, I created that in about an hour. So you'd be amazed at how fast you'll get using this program. Wait, what? So we know we just covered a great deal of stuff. Like I said, we have little cards over here that have our URL on there. We're going to put links to all these tools, and when CALI's over, I'm going to finish that how-to and maybe throw in a little bit of extra detail and put that on there, along with a lot of other resources for making your own video how-tos. Yes?
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions.
Oh, please.
Yes, please.
The Cam Studio software, is that multi-platform or is that just the Windows?
That's just Windows only.
Okay.
And what was the one we found for Mac?
I believe the Mac version is called I Show You, and it's only about $20. Does a fantastic job.
And what does it record in? What is it, like an AVI file like Cam Studio was?
Cam Studio just makes an AVI file. I believe I Show You will let you have your pick of various QuickTime formats. Any other questions?
All right.
Okay. Well, we hope that what we've said today will actually be useful and help you be able to make a more proactive help desk. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I actually have another question.
Yes.
Do you employ students at your help desk?
Yes.
And
Not
do you
exclusively.
employ law students at your help desk?
Sometimes.
We have once. Yes. I don't, not just because, no, it's okay.
The one problem I have with my staff, and I have 7 or 8 help desk students, and we
Mhm.
staff for like 60 hours a week, at our desk, is how to instill that this is a real job into them. And I've implemented a 3 strikes and you're out rule, which
Mhm.
means if you've missed your shift 3 times in a semester, what that says to me is that you really don't have time to work and we can depart friends, but I'm going to put someone else on the schedule.
Right.
But getting them to own some of the stuff and, getting through the, I don't know, Jim's not in her office right now, she'll be back later, you should ask her that question.
Mhm.
Have you all seen that? And if you have, what have you done to
Oh, yeah.
smack them around? And,
Like what Wes said before, tapping into talents and having them make that lab computer statistics program, I think may have been one of the most effective things, because they then feel like they're a part of it. They're not just here for a paycheck, but that they're a part of a team. And
Right. And one thing that I found is that if they're coming to do something rather than to sit and watch, play video games, which happens and used to happen all the time. In fact, our law students spend most of our time doing that.
yeah.
But in fact, we actually created a special blog saying, hey, while you're here, we expect you to do things. If we don't have you on a project, we want you to do things like view tech blogs and write, whether they contribute to our knowing stuff or they just post a blog on, hey, I found something cool on the internet about tech. Check this out. We want them to be there doing things that are like productive. And when you don't have something productive to do, then it doesn't feel like there's any reason for you to be there.
Right. These entries here were made by our help desk staff.
So, and we really say you will be here from this time to that time, and it's not like we really haven't had a problem with people not showing up. If they don't show up, they don't come back.
Yeah.
So can you review again how you capture information about the help you give? Do you use Helpdesk software to track kind of help you give?
For the kind of help we give, we're currently, we've got a number of ways we do it. Currently what I do is I do about monthly reviews with our help desk people. We've had some tests with various help desk software, and we find some of it actually creates a barrier. We want people to come up and say, I need help, and not have the help desk person say, well, let me write up a trouble ticket real quick, or did you go over to that lab machine and write a trouble ticket before I can help you? We don't want any of that. So we're currently working on a good method to do it afterwards. But currently what I usually do is I do about a month review with each person and say what kind of things are we seeing the most. And our help desk people actually record the most common problems, and they make help desk how-tos for it. So then whether it's a help desk person looking on our help desk how-tos on how to do it, or a student, then it helps either way.
Kind of related question, do you or other people track what users are viewing on the web to see popularity between text, video how-tos, and blog?
Yeah, we do. Actually, we have a back office software program we call Joe, which Aaron will actually be talking about in another presentation here. And it actually tracks the views on every one of them, whether it's video or...
Okay, so have you found trends yet of how effective or how, I guess, popular the video?
Yeah, and we hear all the time about how great it is. In fact, we've had a lot of faculty that stumble across it on our website and then come to us and say, wow, those all these problems that I had, and like we said before, they just deal with it, and when they see step-by-step, easy-to-use instructions, then they solve their problems themselves.
We didn't mention it, but like Wes just said, the how-tos not only help the users, but as our staff cycles, they help the other help desk staff. They help that the new help desk staff are able to just simply search for the problem and find the guide and fix it on the fly.
And we just use a blog, so we have a back office program that we've set up, but you could just WordPress blog and just blog. So. Okay, there's any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Even that, I got to like smack them around. If I have to put
Yeah. We gotta go back to the room and drop some but I'm question first.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. I run a diagram and yeah, they did.
To have a job, pay for
I like the
That's actually done by one of the on that level.
The thing is, some is out there in the middle.
All those options.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, all the longer. Yeah, I was doing the same thing. We kind of look at that custom content. We're going to break it down and you want to have something, right? It's okay for some
To go out the entrance, we came in this morning. It's facing the medical school. You just go 5 blocks out. Then my hotel's right there. No turns or anything.
Ours is actually going up to our website. The thing is, we have different content
Yeah, we can do
and
that.
news and content sort of all that stuff. So it's quite complex, but you've got a mind for design and structure that once you have a shell done, yeah, and the nice thing is you can customize those. And that's really what I have a framework up there and draw all of the new dynamic tables working on right now back end for that, just for the public facing side so that there's news items or drop in pictures or
But it's very,
have a roadmap.
We can send
it's not as good, but it's actually something that works and it sends them updates and the update.
I'm like, well, that's
It's actually a problem.
but there's
There's also another thing, is like, we thought, this is
it allows you to
check that out. That you can drop right into your drum.
how it all works rather than having it all done for you. And when you run into something that requires some customization or
Can you get my message earlier?
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
you can do that.
I sent it to
Like I said, come to the presentation on Saturday. I'm doing one tomorrow on digital science, which was a software that we created in-house.
Oh, you know what? You got a new phone.
And then another one the next day.
Oh, you have actually a pen. I wonder if I'm sending this stuff to Eric.
Digital science.
Digital science.
Yeah. We
actually just
How much it cost you?
just the software from those guys, we probably about $1,500.
I've sent you like 5 or 6 messages.
Yeah, the thing that we developed.
I haven't gotten a reply from
is
him.
actually web-based.
I don't
So
think.
it's like $60 a month to use it. And it has built-in advertising stuff. It has
The dinner's starting to
all this other stuff. So
Tour.
if you're interested, yeah, check it out if you're interested. That one's at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Room for reading.
But he was showing us all kinds of free
Yeah, it's on the
programs.
other floor. Yeah, come by, check it out.
All right.
I'll look for you
See you
on
later.
Saturday. And Friday, maybe.
Stitch photos together and basically create a virtual tour of your school for free. And you can't download it, but it's like total 3D views of the school and everything, and you don't have to, it's totally free. So he was like, he got up early in the morning, took these really nice pictures of the university and then stitched them together. And it's like 360, you know, it's called MAGTOO. Virtual tours. Yeah, and you know, the web camera stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, because the programs like actually do that and build it are really expensive and like have it on your computer, but this is just, it's housed, or it's stored on the website, but.
Because we report to the associate dean of this title, the little library. So when we go in there, like this stuff, I mean, it's like, how much does that cost? No, Jeff, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Work with me here.
We just barely transitioned from having a director who had been there for like 30 years, knows nothing whatsoever about IT, doesn't know what a blog is.
Right.
And now we have a real director that knows stuff.
Knows about video editing.
Oh, how cool.
It's a wonderful.
Yeah, because then when you ask them for something that's really expensive that you need,
They can see it out there.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Okay.
It's nice to meet you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep in touch. Yeah. So, it was great. Thank you. You guys did really well. Really well.
Thank you.
I was gonna put it on a iChat for Mark, but block it before it goes out.
But it's video recorded. Hopefully they'll let us have a copy of it. We can post it on our website. Then they'll be like, wait a second. Is your water?
No.
Great job.
Hey, you.
I was like, I wonder if you're gonna rush too much. Okay.
Timing just was perfect. Oh my gosh. Oh my
$100 and
gosh.
whatever dollars.
$110. Oh my goodness. That's the last thing I need is to forget something else of critical importance. Yeah, it stays on until you unplug this for some reason. No?
Or-
Okay. Or just forever. Probably till the capacitor's drained.
Yeah, you've just found it's perpetual energy. Jeff, I always think it's funny when they talk about like the plug-in cars.
Uh-huh.
Because you know, you have to plug it in instead of putting gas in it. It's like the magical electricity fairy is just powering it.
Exactly.
You know?
It's totally free then.
It's totally
No,
friendly.
we just want to burn coal.
Yeah.
To make that.
I was gonna, I should have told you before, you mentioned something about converting formats.
Yeah.
Have you heard of haywatch.com?
Hey, watch.
For
No.
10 cents, I'm thinking behind the damn display and so writing around.
Mhm.
For 10 cents, you can actually encode any video you upload to any format.
Oh my
What's it
goodness,
called?
really?
Haywatch.com.
Haywatch, nice.
And that's what I did for Bragus. He sent me movie files.
Mhm.
And Dan actually has been configured now to work better with Flash files. So basically, or the H.264 Flash
Mhm.
files, so
Mhm.
they're MP4s. So what I would do is take these movies, upload them, and then make sure that the resolution and all that stayed the same, and it would spit out anything. Absolutely any file. Extract the audio.
Even
video,
like the
drive.
other Flash, the VP6 or VP7 one?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's got a list this long of
That's
formats.
cool.
So, but that's something that you might want to use.
Yeah, no kidding, because
The only downside is it's 10 cents. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I've already blown through $3 worth of drag. And that's fine.
guys are recording this in VHS?
Yeah, for the most part. We have VHS running as a backup, but we do have a digital file.
So I was looking at the IT director catalog, so I was looking at the layout in the list, and I didn't see any of the IT department. You guys looking?
Well, the IT department, they do have their own webpage on the website.
I'm saying in this building.
Oh, in this building, you go through the split here and to the left, open, much IT people on the left side and
What floor is that?
the right side. On this one.
Second floor and
Seventh floor.
and it shows that
Oh, yeah.
the layout.
Oh.
No IT department?
Yeah, no, yeah, they're right around the corner. I'm more media, but I'm pseudo IT.
So the media is a department, and like the AD.
It's all under a academic technology department, electronics, computer side, media side.
Yeah, we're really department.
Yeah.
How it used to be, what? We have full-time, 2, 4, let's see, five people full-time, and 5 people part-time.
Oh, yeah.
Every room have a full set like that?
Every classroom has a rack like this, every courtroom has a rack like this, or the rack can be bigger. Well, actually, rack and closet is the same, but every courtroom classroom has one similar to this. And, there are seminar rooms with racks that aren't quite as complicated. They're named usual right in the closet. So,
What we have in most rooms would probably fit there down.
oh yeah.
What is Pentagon?
That is the part of the AMX touch screen control system.
Oh,
So that's
who hooked that up? Is that Astron?
that was they had contractors come in when they built the building back in 2000. Well, they built the building from about 99 to 2002. They opened up this new building in 2002, and when they built the building, they put all this built-in equipment, and it was Washington Professional Systems was the main contractor, and then they subcontracted to a company called Design and Integration. The Washington Professional Systems is down in Wheaton, Maryland, and Design and Integration is in the city.
So for every lecture or every event, they have to like request like anything, request anything? Or?
They do. We need to know if they're going to use any of the equipment, then we find out what the people want to use. 95% of the time, we can cover everything that they're asking for.
Because I've seen, VCRs and stuff like that. They want to, let's say, take a DVD or VCR,
Yeah.
still have to contact you guys, right?
If they're outside, the professors here, most of them, about half of them, can play a DVD or pull up a PowerPoint or use a document camera and we got the floor over there on their own. Half of them ask us to come down and help them out with it because they use it once or twice a semester. Outside organizations or conferences, they come in, we come in and we pretty much do whatever they need.
Is that camera fixed or they're?
Yeah, camera back there in the back of the room. That's a fixed camera. In the courtrooms, we do have robotic cameras.
How do they move? Like they person wear something?
No, we actually control the cameras. There's a couple of ways that do now. Before, up until this past semester, everything was pretty much the VHS, and the VHS would be distributed either directly to the professors if they wanted them, to the professors if they wanted to give it to an individual student, or most of the time we would put it in the library. We have a library archive.
So now with the web, how do you guys use the system?
We
put it up, or you create pages and like
we use Blackboard, and we just put a link on the course materials page of the Blackboard site, and that's the way we've been doing it for the majority of the last 2 years. If they do something posted, then that's the way it's going to go about it.
Do you guys also have freestanding like cameras and stuff like that that you bring to certain
Yeah, we do. We don't use them very often. We'll probably use them upstairs in 473 for a couple of the seminars up there tomorrow. We got a couple. We have a digital camera, and then we have a couple of VHS cameras.
Very interesting. Thanks for the info.
Sure.
It's good to know like what other schools use as far as technology.
And it's constantly changing. We just
Yeah.
switched it doing everything. A lot of the stuff on the web this past year. So
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of web, but a lot of manual. We've done in the AV department. We don't have cameras in the classrooms. So when we do like mock product and stuff like that, we set up the equipment. But we also have 10 MacBook Pros that we simultaneously capture it in mini DV format in the camera, but through Firewire we also capture it in MPEG-4 or H.264. And then as soon as we have that video, I create the crappy web page and put it out there so that the classes and everyone can see.
yeah.
But we're thinking of looking into doing that Group 360 that does all of that capturing and publishing.
Have you looked at Panopto?
We haven't really looked at anything. Currently, we're going to be moving to a new building.